coffee break on the HAN network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and on today's show, we'll be bringing you the latest local news. Rob Adams joins us with a look at the forecast and a Nutmeg sports update. And later on, Donald Ang will take a look back on this day in history. But first, on to today's news. In some breaking news out of Monroe, an emergency medical technician is facing charges after police said he was seen assaulting a patient in the back of an ambulance. According to reports, this happened on March 14th at about 6:30 in the evening when Monroe EMS transported a patient to St. Vincent's Hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. The patient reported to police that he had been assaulted by one of the EMTs, later identified as 44-year-old Alejandro Ramirez of Naugatuck, before the ambulance left Monroe. Police said the patient had been secured to a stretcher when he and Ramirez had a heated verbal exchange. A witness reported seeing Ramirez grab the patient by the throat and push down on it before striking the patient with an iPad. The patient sustained a small abrasion on his forehead. Ramirez is an employee with Emergency Resource Management out of Portland, Connecticut, which contracts with Monroe EMS to provide paid staff from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. on weekdays. Ramirez turned himself into police on Monday after being notified there was a warrant for his arrest. He was charged with third-degree assault and released on a promise to appear in court on April 27th. And in other news today, the identity of a Stratford man who died Friday after being struck by a Metro-North train was released on Monday. 46-year-old Michael Dascam of Stratford was identified Monday by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority police. Nancy Gamerman, a spokesman for the MTA, said Monday that it appears there was no criminality involved in Dascam's death, and it does not appear to be an accident. Dascam was struck and killed at about noon on Friday by a New Haven-bound Metro-North train as it arrived at the Stratford station. MTA police said Dascam had trespassed onto the tracks. Metro-North trains were delayed for several hours on Friday, and train traffic at the Stratford station was reduced to one track for about 3 hours. MTA police are still investigating that incident. And a New York man accused of harassing members of a Sandy Hook shooting victim's family at an event last year was sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading guilty on Monday to interfering with police. 32-year-old Matthew Mills of Brooklyn entered the guilty plea in Bridgeport Superior Court and was given a 1-year suspended sentence along with 2 years probation. Mills was charged last November with breach of peace and interfering with an officer. Stratford police said Mills had approached members of elementary school teacher Victoria Soto's family after the Vicky Soto 5K run event and made a statement that the shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown nearly 3 years ago was staged and part of a conspiracy. Police said the comments were upsetting to family members. Mills attempted to run away through a crowd of people when officers approached, but he was quickly detained and arrested. Soto, a Stratford native and teacher at Sandy Hook, was among the 26 who were killed in the December 14th, 2012 shooting. And a store manager at the Westfield Trumbull Mall played an integral role in a police investigation recently. Last week, when Trumbull police arrested a Bridgeport couple for credit card theft after they were noticed shopping at the Champs in the Westfield Trumbull Mall. According to a report, the manager recognized the couple from a similar crime they had committed back in February. Police said that a Bridgeport victim reported being scammed by credit card theft back on February 23rd, and the victim told investigators at the time that the fraudulent purchases were made at Champs and Foot Action in the mall. Both purchases were about $200 each. When the couple returned last week, the store manager recognized them and alerted Trumbull police. The suspects were stopped by mall security before being brought to Trumbull Police headquarters, where they were given a warrant out of Bridgeport. And in other news today, a 49-year-old man was arrested after police said he was naked on a beach in West Haven last Tuesday afternoon. WFSB said police were called to a report of a naked man at Sea Bluff Beach, which is adjacent to the Sandy Hook playground, at around 4:30 in the afternoon. Upon arrival, police located Ansonia resident David Garish in his motor vehicle in the beach parking lot facing the playground. Police said Garish tried to elude police and was naked for a short period of time. Garish was charged with public indecency and breach of peace. He was being held on a bond as he awaited arraignment. And in Milford, Jonathan Law seniors will graduate on June 10th, the same date that their classmate Laura Gonzalez committed suicide last year. Upset by this, students have taken to change.org to petition the Milford School Board to change the date of graduation. As of April 19th, the petition had 896 supporters. The petition, started by senior Kate Czaplinski, says that, quote, "Last year on June 10th, my school suddenly and tragically lost a friend and fellow classmate, Laura Gonzalez." She went on to say, "Our school did relatively nothing to help us through this tragedy, and now this year, they're forcing the senior class to graduate on the one-year anniversary of her death." Sabo told News 12 that she first went to Milford Superintendent Dr. Elizabeth Fieser, who did not agree to change the date, arguing that graduating that day would honor Gonzalez. Sabo plans to take her petition to the Milford School Board on April 25th. And many towns are grappling with the potential impact of Governor Dannel Malloy's proposed cuts to services across the state. The latest batch would cost Trumbull about $610,000 in education grants if approved. As we mentioned before, the governor plans on significantly reducing the education cost-sharing grant in Connecticut. The 28 most affluent districts in the state stand to lose the grant entirely, while the 30 lowest performing school districts would see no cuts at all. All districts in between would lose a portion of their grant money. Trumbull Board of Finance Chairman Elaine Hammers told the Trumbull Times that the cuts won't affect the Board of Education budgets next year. She said the town will have to absorb the shortfall when it hits us. She said the ECS grants would go into the general fund, so they will have to look at how it will affect their town budget next year when they come in. According to reports, other school districts like Darien set to lose $1.5 million, while nearby towns are also feeling the sting. New Canaan and Madison would also lose $1.5 million. But we're going to switch gears now and throw it over to Rob Adams for a look at today's forecast. Rob?
All right, Kate, good morning, everyone. A mostly sunny day and a high near 67. Now, the wind could be your problem. It's going to be out of the north at 17 miles per hour and gusts as high as 30. Tonight, clear, low 40. So we're going to drop back down again. Wind out of the north from 8 to 11. Wednesday, sunny and 63. Wind out of the northwest from 9 to 14. Patchy frost as we move into Thursday morning after 4 a.m. Otherwise, a clear night with a low around 38. To Thursday, sunny and 70, so we'll pinball around. The allergies will be driving everyone crazy, and I'm sorry, I wish I could have better news. But 70 sounds nice with the wind out of the southwest, 6 to 11 miles per hour in the morning. Chance of showers mainly after midnight Thursday night, mostly cloudy and 52. 67 and showers on Friday. Sunny and 67 for Saturday, mostly sunny and 59 for Sunday, and sunny and 56 as we get back to next week on Monday. Around the region right now, Greenwich you have 64, Westport 63, and here in Shelton we have 62 degrees. Need to get a little sunnier out there for lacrosse later on. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, it's going to be time to take a look back on this day in history. Then we're back over to Rob for a Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have some more headlines coming up after this.
Had a sports injury or slip and fall that needs immediate care? Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care gives you direct access to an orthopedic specialist fast without an appointment. Biking, golf, tennis, soccer, whatever the sports injury is, sprain or fracture, Coastal Ortho Express can help. Coastal Ortho Express Urgent Care open Monday through Saturday in the iPark building at 761 Main Avenue in Norwalk, or go to coastalorthoexpress.com. That's coastalorthoexpress.com. Like them on Facebook.
It's time to come back to hometown banking, where people are taken into account, not just balances. Where community comes first. A place where there's more than one kind of interest. Where they not only know your name, they know your dog's name too. It's time to expect more. It's time to bank well. Bank smart. Bank local. Bank well. Until April 30th, choose $150 cash or a Smeg toaster when you open a My Bankwell Choice checking account with a minimum of $2,000.
A Better View Window Cleaning Plus has been cleaning glass all over Connecticut for over 20 years. They also specialize in cleaning chandeliers, mirrors, skylights, tiles, and will power wash anything that needs cleaning. They hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and are fully insured and bonded. When you deal with a Better View, you're dealing with the best, not the rest. Call today for a free estimate, 203-284-8836, or visit them online, abetterviewcleaning.com.
Hi, I'm Rob Adams with my good friend Donald Eng, and we're the home team for Nutmeg Sports, Monday through Wednesday at 2 o'clock right here on the HAN Network. We are the place for all things Connecticut sports, so come hang out with us on Nutmeg Sports. Don? They don't call him the best color man in the game for nothing. Nutmeg Sports, 2 o'clock, Monday through Wednesday right here on the HAN Network.
This HAN Network video is brought to you by Bankwell.
Okay.
Bank smart, bank local, bank well.
What's happening, Joe? AJ, can you help?
Good afternoon, everyone. And
Wait.
All right,
there
we
go.
had some technical difficulties, but we're back now. Here we are.
Here you are.
Tuesday edition of your coffee break. We just kind of wanted to mix things up a little bit, but you will be seeing more of those baseball highlights in just a bit. But first, it is time to throw it over to Donald Eng for a look back on this day in history. Don.
Well, Kate, on this day, April 19th, an American classic television show premieres on a British actress's show. But first, we're going to go to 1770. 14-year-old Marie Antoinette marries 15-year-old Louis XVI of France. We presume there was plenty of cake at the reception. The two were almost complete strangers, having met 2 days before. Due to Louis' shyness and his almost pathological paranoia of being manipulated by Marie, the marriage reportedly not consummated until 1777. The two did not have any children for the first 8 years of their marriage. To 1927, Mae West, sentenced to 10 days in jail for obscenity over her play, Sex. Known for her bawdy double entendres, of which that was not one, West was one of the more controversial movie stars of her day, and this was not her only brush with censorship. Later on in her career, when asked about her arrest, West replied, "I believe in censorship. I made a fortune out of it." To 1993, the 51-day siege of the Branch Davidian compound outside Waco, Texas, ends with the compound burning to the ground. 81 people die. 2 years later, in payback of a sort, the Alfred P. Murrah Federal Building in Oklahoma City is bombed, killing 168. Perpetrators Tim McVeigh and Terry Nichols had been outraged by the Waco siege and timed their attack to coincide with the anniversary. And finally, on a much happier note, we go back to 1987 for this.
Well, good night, son.
Dad?
Yeah?
What is the mind? Is it just a system of impulses, or is it something tangible?
Relax. What is mind? No matter. What is matter? Never mind.
Thanks, Dad.
Good night, son.
Good night, Lisa. Good night, Mom. Sweet dreams. Thanks, Mom. Sleep tight. I will, Mom. Don't let the bed bugs bite. Bed bugs?
Premiering as a cartoon short on The Tracy Ullman Show. Over the next 3 years, there would be a total of 48 short cartoons before the family was spun off into its own half-hour show. The Simpsons, by the way, 10 years ago now, surpassed Gunsmoke as the longest-running primetime scripted show. Time named it the best show of the 20th century, and Ullman has gone on to become one of Britain's richest actresses with an estimated net worth of £77 million. She also became a naturalized U.S. citizen in 2006. That is your look back in history, and I am Donald Eng.
Very Very cool, Don. Thanks for that look back. We're going to get back to a little more news today. Of course, we already heard from Rob Adams today on the forecast, and he'll be taking another look at it later on. But also important to note that dry weather conditions have caused the National Weather Service to issue a red flag warning for brush fires today. That warning is in effect from noon to 8 p.m. tonight. The State Department of Energy and Environmental Protection has also listed the forest fire threat as high. A red flag warning means that weather conditions are expected or occurring. A combination of strong winds, low humidity, and dry fuels will create elevated fire growth potential. There have been over the last few days some reported brush fires around southwestern Connecticut in such areas as Stratford and Shelton. So something to keep in mind. But we're going to throw it back to Rob Adams now for a Nutmeg Sports Update.
Thank you, Kate. Good morning once again, everyone. We had Darien visiting Danbury in baseball right here on the HAN network yesterday afternoon. Let's have a look at the highlights. Welcome to Danbury High School for high school baseball on the HAN network. I'm Rob Adams with Eric Gendron and our entire crew, and today the Darien Blue Wave, with a record of 6-0, 3-0 in the FCAC, will take on the Danbury Hatters, 4-2. with a conference record of 2-1. Payoff. Bounce to the left side, waiting to scoop it up there. Swenson across, gets the out there to throw back to third. Missed it. Yeah, he got him! Oh, my! I thought he might have missed the tag, Eric, but not the case, so it goes. Bases loaded. And a soft line drive, that falls, fair ball. 2 runs will score. Looking to get a third one. Mike Scott's going to hold him at third. It's a 2 RBI double, and Darien takes a 2-0 lead. The 0-2 lifts it to center. It should get a run in. Ranging over Jordan. He'll put it away. Tagging at third, Hernandez. He will come on and score. A sacrifice fly for Mike Tucci. Danbury's on the board. It's 3-1. Geddes gets his stretch. Brings it home. Line drive into center field. It's a base hit. 1 run scores. Rounding third. Here comes Jacob Else. The tying run on the way. He is safe. The hesitation to make sure that he got in there safely. He slides home with the tying run. On at second is Lewis. We've got a new game at 3. Now he brings it home. Bounced up the middle and through for a base hit. Rounding third, Lewis. He's got the sign to come home. The throw on a line. He is this time gone at home plate. On to second goes Cerno. So here we go again with the 0-2. Curveball missed away, and the whole Darien bench spins around in disbelief. Brereton brings it home. Lifted down the right field line. This is going to be trouble. It bounces in. 2 runs will score. Cerno on his horse to second. Slides in with a double. It's 5-3.
What a piece of hitting by Cerno. Come through with the big hit.
The 0-1. Ripped to left field in big trouble. Down the line and heading toward the ridge. 1 run scores. They play it off that hill. It turns, I believe, into a triple. And he brings it home. Swings and misses, and the ball game is over. And he finishes with 10 strikeouts on the day, including striking out the side here in the 7th. Brandon Backman struck out 10 and walked 4, but allowed only 2 hits as he went the distance to get the win. The Blue Wave put 3 on the board in the 3rd, but the Hatters answered with 3 of their own in the 4th. Eric Cerno's double, as you saw in the 6th, helped propel Danbury to the 6-3 win and handed Darien their first loss of the year. Over to the scoreboard now we go, and Ridgefield got a 12-5 win over the Greenwich Cardinals as Harrison Porter drove in 5 as we stay in baseball. Trumbull a 9-2 win over Ludlow as Joe Nemchek went 5+ for the win. West Hill a 9-6 win over Ward. It was McMahon squeaking past Stamford 10-9. New Canaan 7, Trinity Catholic 2. Staples by over Massac 7-6, and Connor Hurley went the distance on a 6-hitter. St. Joseph beat Wilton 1-0, an unearned run the difference in that game. To softball, Ridgefield all over Greenwich 11-0. West Hill took care of Ward 8-1. Stamford, a solid win over McMahon. It was New Canaan over Trinity Catholic 12-3. And Erica Flusky and Lauren Zielinski had back-to-back home runs in the fourth as Trumbull beat Ludlow 14-2. St. Joseph over Wilton 9-0. Joe Hillman hit a home run, was 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs as the Cadets had 15 hits. One boys lacrosse score, Wilton over Danbury 18-6 as we move on to boys tennis now. And the winners in boys tennis were Danbury over St. Joseph 5-2, Greenwich with a win, New Canaan, West Hill, Norwalk, and Wilton all with wins in boys tennis. Moving over to the girls' side, Staples with a win over Greenwich, New Canaan, Norwalk, Ridgefield, and Ward were all winners. On to boys golf now. Darien took care of Trinity Catholic at Weeburn. St. Joseph finished off Norwalk, and it was New Canaan over Trumbull and Stamford at the Country Club of New Canaan, while Greenwich, Ludlow, and Wilton all picked up wins. Moving to girls golf now, Greenwich beat Darien and Ward over Trumbull, that at Tashua Knolls. Boys volleyball winners were Darien over Danbury, I should say. Staples beat Greenwich, Trumbull over New Canaan, and Ridgefield past St. Joseph. On to today's schedule. It's a busy one. In baseball, you have Trinity Catholic at Bethel, East Haven home for Ludlow, and Bassick at Stamford. Softball, Wilton takes on Norwich Free Academy, that across the state. You've got from boys lacrosse, Trinity Catholic and Ridgefield, Ward and Darien, Hall at St. Joseph, Trumbull at West Hill, Greenwich at Staples, and Stamford at McMahon. But let's go back to Greenwich at Staples at 5:30. That's our broadcast right here on the HAN network later today. Girls lacrosse, Darien is at St. Joseph, Ridgefield at Staples, Greenwich at Danbury, Law home for West Hill, McMahon at Norwalk, New Canaan at Wilton, Stamford is at Trumbull, and Ludlow home for Ward. You also have boys outdoor track and field, girls outdoor track and field, boys tennis, boys golf, girls golf, all on the agenda. And of course, you can check all the schedules out at fcac.net. They're all listed right there. But that'll do it for a busy day in sports, busy night, a busy Tuesday. We'll have lacrosse later on today. Of course, don't forget about Nutmeg Sports as well at 2 o'clock. Kate, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. Well, getting back to a little more news today, Connecticut has moved up to 8th place in terms of the highest gas prices in the nation this week after holding steady at 10th place for the last 4 weeks. Today's Connecticut gas average price of $2.24 is up 7 cents from last week and 26 cents from this time last month. Compared to last year, however, average prices are still 33 cents lower, according to AAA. On the national level, average prices hit $2.11 today. Compared to last week, prices have remained the same but are 14 cents higher than last month. According to AAA's weekly survey of prices in the Nutmeg State, the average price in the greater Bridgeport-Stamford area is $2.32. And the Republican town committees of Darien and Norwalk are hosting a presidential candidate forum on Saturday, April 23rd at the Darien Library Auditorium. It starts at 9:30 in the morning and is open to the public. Former Connecticut Congressman Chris Shays will speak on behalf of Governor John Kasich. Former Greenwich RTC Chair Jim Campbell will speak for Donald Trump, and Bob McGuffey will speak in favor of Senator Ted Cruz. For the first time in a generation, Connecticut's delegate selection decisions could make a real difference in the outcome of the convention. The meeting will start with a discussion of Connecticut's system for picking and allocating delegates for the presidential primary to be held on Tuesday, April 26th. Admission is free to the event, but you are asked to RSVP to Paul Nag at ATPNAG, that's KNAG, at murthalaw.com, but you can get more information at DarienTimes.com as well. And in other news today, the Shelton Board of Aldermen voted to approve an agreement to have the state of Connecticut fund more than 75% of the $1 million economic development project at 223 Canal Street. During the Board of Aldermen's April 14th meeting, the board approved an agreement entitled Assistance Agreement by and between the State of Connecticut under the Department of Economic Development. The board's grants Shelton $875,000 for the 223 Canal Street site. The money would go towards demolition, remediation, and a redevelopment project. There's a lot more on that project at sheltonherald.com. And 6th graders at Stratford's Chapel Street Elementary School will get to take an overnight trip to nature's classroom after all. Board of Education Chairman James Feehan said Monday that Chapel Street Principal Carla Amistad was able to successfully reschedule the trip to the Litchfield County Campground for May 31st and June 1st. Amistad and 4 to 5 parents will serve as chaperones for the overnight trip. Parents who only want their children to take an extended day trip will have that option as well. Feehan said he and Amistad announced the news on Monday to a group of roughly 20 Chapel Street parents. Many parents of the Chapel Street students were upset that the original trip, which was set for the weekend of April 30th and May 1st, was changed from an overnight trip to a single-day event, and they had not been told about the planned change. The initial change was made after Chapel Street teachers opted out of being chaperones following allegations that a former teacher's aide and tutor had an inappropriate relationship with a student. Well, we're going to step out for a break, and when we come back, we're going to recap some of the top stories we're following today. We'll also take another look at the forecast and tell you what's coming up later today on the HAN Network after this.
At the Sylvan Learning Center of Darien, experienced teachers and personalized academic support equals superior results. Our certified teachers uncover skill gaps, address specific needs, and help students realize greater academic success and increased confidence. We're enrolling now. Individualized after-school tutoring in reading, math, history, elementary math, algebra, geometry, calculus, high school science, and study skills. For a free consultation, call 203-655-3276 or email gmcsylvan@gmail.com.
Alberto Londano Professional Painting, Wallpapering, and Carpentry has been serving Fairfield County for over 20 years. Based in Norwalk, Alberto takes pride in his work by offering you only the best quality service and products. Call Alberto today to get a free estimate and be one step closer to a new and exciting home makeover. 203-866-9635.
Do you need help reaching or maintaining your fitness goals? For over 20 years, Mike Pernice has tailored his time and expertise to clients on both coasts whose schedules demand flexibility and accountability. Mike is a certified lifestyle manager and has been called upon to help his clients eliminate negative behaviors such as coping with stress, improving their time management, setting realistic life goals, and cutting down compulsive behavior. If you're ready to start working toward a more energetic, productive, and healthier you, call Mike Pernice.
I'm Denise DiGregoli, the host of The Drive on the HAN Network. Join me Tuesdays for some motivational, intelligent talk with a little humor as we visit with people who live their lives mindfully. Tune in to The Drive live on Tuesdays, 12:30, here on the HAN Network.
When it comes to local entertainment, we've got it all.
From movies, local artists, etiquette, and more.
Watch HAN Arts and Leisure every Thursday at 2 on the HAN Network.
I'm John Kovach. I'm a newspaper editor. I'm a high school football coach. I'm a television presenter. And I want you to love fishing as much as I do. Tune in to Yankee Fisherman, Thursdays at 1 on the HAN Network. It's like going to the tackle shop without leaving your office.
Join the HAN Network and Make-A-Wish Connecticut to help make travel wishes come true for local kids with life-threatening medical conditions. Donate your unused airline miles to the HAN Network Wishes in Flight campaign. Together we can share the power of a wish.
And we're back on this Tuesday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, and we're recapping some of the top stories of the day, including some breaking news out of Monroe, where an emergency medical technician is facing charges after police say he was seen assaulting a patient in the back of an ambulance. According to reports, this happened on March 14th at about 6:30 in the evening when Monroe EMS transported a patient to St. Vincent's Hospital for a psychiatric evaluation. The patient reported to police that he had been assaulted by one of the EMTs, later identified as 44-year-old Alejandro Ramirez of Naugatuck, before the ambulance left Monroe. Police said the patient had been secured to a stretcher when he and Ramirez had a heated verbal exchange. A witness reported seeing Ramirez grab the patient by the throat and push down before striking the patient with an iPad. The patient sustained a small abrasion on his forehead. Ramirez is an employee with Emergency Resource Management, which contracts with Monroe EMS to provide paid staff on weekdays. Ramirez turned himself into police on Monday after being notified there was a warrant for his arrest. He was charged with third-degree assault and released on a promise to appear in court on April 27th. And the identity of a Stratford man who died Friday after being struck by a Metro North train was released on Monday. 46-year-old Michael Dascam of Stratford was identified Monday by the Metropolitan Transportation Authority Police. Nancy Gamerman, a spokesman for the MTA, said Monday it appears there was no criminality involved in Dascam's death, and it does not appear to be an accident. Dascam was struck and killed at about noon Friday by a New Haven-bound Metro North train as it arrived at the Stratford station. MTA police say Dascam had trespassed onto the tracks, but MTA police are still investigating. And a New York man accused of harassing members of a Sandy Hook shooting victim's family at an event last year was sentenced to 2 years probation after pleading guilty on Monday to interfering with police. 32-year-old Matthew Mills of Brooklyn entered the guilty plea in Bridgeport Superior Court and was given a 1-year suspended sentence along with the 2 years of probation. Mills was charged last November with breach of peace and interfering with an officer after Stratford police said Mills had approached members of the elementary school teacher Victoria Soto's family after the Vicky Soto 5K run event and made a statement that the shooting at the Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown was staged and part of a conspiracy. Police said the comments were upsetting to family members and Mills attempted to run away through a crowd of people when officers approached him, but he was quickly detained and arrested. Soto, a Stratford native and teacher at Sandy Hook, was among the 26 who were killed in the December 14th, 2012 shooting. And in West Haven, a 49-year-old man was arrested after police say he was naked on the beach Monday afternoon. WFSB said police were called to a report of a naked man at Sea Bluff Beach, which is adjacent to the Sandy Hook playground. This happened around 4:30 in the afternoon. Upon arrival, police located Ansonia resident David Garish in his motor vehicle in the beach parking lot facing the playground. Police said Garish tried to elude police and they said he was naked for a short period of time. He was arrested and charged with public indecency and breach of peace. Going to throw it over to Rob now for a quick look at the forecast. Rob?
All right, Kate, a mostly sunny day and a high near 67. The wind will be your issue. Out of the north at 17, gusting as high as 30. Tonight, clear and 40. We move to Wednesday, sunny and 63. To Wednesday night, patchy frost as we move into Thursday morning. Otherwise, clear and a low around 38. We move to Thursday now, sunny and a high of 70 degrees. To Thursday night, chance of showers and 52. Friday, more showers. Mostly cloudy otherwise, high 67. Saturday, sunny and 67, mostly sunny and 59 for Sunday, sunny and 56 as we move back to Monday. Greenwich, you have 64, Westport has 63, Shelton has 62, Greenwich and Westport, meaning Staples, they meet later today at 5:30 in La Crosse. I'll have that call for you. Nutmeg Sports, of course, at 2 o'clock. Kate,
Great.
Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Rob. And of course, at 12:30, check out The Drive with Denise. That's coming up in just a bit. We're going to wrap things up on your coffee break. And on the way out, we asked you to check out this sponsored content piece we did with Monroe Dance Academy. And we'll see you tomorrow. I'm Kate Czaplinski for the HAN Network, and I'm joined today by Judy Abatello, the Executive Director of the Monroe Dance Academy. Judy, so excited to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
And excited to hear about Monroe Dance Academy. There's a long history of dance instruction in Monroe.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
We've been there 34 years.
Wow.
I opened the school 34 years ago, and it now has a life of its own. I have an amazing staff. We have 13 teachers on staff. Many of them are from New York. We do have some local teachers that were professional dancers or graduated from college as dance majors. All of my teachers are, actually. And I have a wonderful business partner. Her name is Tammy Sochi, and she has brought such wonderful life to the studio. So we have numerous students that have gone on to dance professionally.
Wow.
I have 3 students that have been on Broadway. I have one currently on Broadway. One of our little 13-year-olds, Katie Zimmer from Monroe, is in Matilda.
Wow, that's incredible. That must make you quite proud.
Very. We just went to see her. My son and I just went to see her, and Tammy just went with a group of people just like 2 nights ago. So that was very exciting. She's doing wonderfully. She loves it. I asked her, what's your favorite part? She said all of it.
Yeah, that's so cool. And so what ages do you start working with, and how far does it go up?
We start with 3-year-olds. We do a pre-dance program, which I developed. At 4, we start pre-ballet, pre-tap. And we go up, we have adults in the school, and we do everything: ballet, tap, jazz, hip-hop, contemporary, lyrical, modern, acrobatics.
Wow, a little bit of everything.
We do everything.
Wow. And so what would you say sets you apart from maybe other dance studios in the area?
We really pride ourselves in education. To me, it's more important about the education, definitely about teaching the art of dance, but they know the education behind it. So we have a dance company, a performing company. They very often, they take classes, they do a technique class that includes Pilates. We have them actually do research on various choreographers and dance companies, so they understand the history that brings them to where they are today. But it's all about the education for us.
That's very cool. And I know summer's a big time, and it's coming up quickly, and you have a lot of programs going on. So tell us about some of those.
Okay, so excuse me while I read.
Yes, please, there's a lot.
Okay, we have a Young Dancers Camp, and that's 4 to 6-year-olds. That's July 11th to the 15th. We have a morning, and then we have an afternoon. The morning is frozen, and the afternoon is Under the Sea. The week of July 18th, we have Dance Fever. That's ages 7 to 12, and that's an all-day program. Well, it's 9 to 3. We have a Dance Intensive, which is for the older dancers. It is usually dancers that are at least have intermediate training to advanced. And that's usually ages 10 and up. And that's July 18th to the 22nd as well. Those classes run from 9:45 to 3:45. We have 4 weeks of summer classes for our little 3 and 4-year-olds, pre-dance and pre-ballet. That's for 4 Saturdays. We also have a Modern and Creative Camp, August 15th to the 19th. So
you have a lot going on.
We
It's
do.
gonna be a busy summer.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So how can people get in touch and sign up for classes or get more information?
They can go online, and it's monroedance.com. That's our website. Or they can call the studio, 203-268-1200. And I believe our information is on the website at this point with all of our staff, so that they would know. Our Dance Intensive, we have separate teachers that we normally have. We're very fortunate. We've gotten Eric Otto to come teach ballet for us, who was with American Ballet Theater and with Phantom. And last year he actually called and said he couldn't do Monday and Tuesday because he was working with Twyla Tharp.
Wow.
Oh my. He was so cute. He said, can I send my wife? She's currently an American in Paris. I was like, oh, I think so.
Yes, that should work.
And she was lovely. She was absolutely lovely. The kids loved it. And it's a really educational week for them. And it's very uplifting.
That's very cool. Well,
Yeah.
Judy, thank you so much for coming on and talking to us about Monroe Dance Academy.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, we're going to wrap things up on this Kids World special. We'll see you next time.